Right from the jump, we're in the deep end. Aggravated assault with family violence. That's not just a fight. That's a felony carrying serious prison time, especially with priors stacked on top.
23 CR 110, first-degree felony, aggravated assault, family violence.
Your Honor, there's two cases pending. That's where he's
I'm not through. 23 CR 120. We got to work through these here. Third-degree felony, an indictment, a third-degree felony of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. And in that case, stand by. As the previous case, one or more prior felony convictions are alleged. So this aggravated assault in 110, it's enhanced to, correct me if I'm wrong, no less than 15.
That one, Your Honor, they're not in sequence, so it pushes it up to the
One level. It's a first degree felony in paragraph 1 with prior felony convictions. It would enhance it to 15 to life.
Yes, sir.
And then in 23 CR 120, it's a third degree felony with a prior conviction. So that gets enhanced if found guilty of all of that to a second degree felony punishment. And finally, 23 CR 340, aggravated assault, family violence.
Quick breakdown. Enhancements are like multipliers. A second-degree felony might mean up to 20 years. But tack on prior convictions, and suddenly you're staring at 15 to life. Prior records don't just haunt you, they supercharge the punishment.
Violence, again, all of these are on the same date. It looks like on or about February 8th. Yeah. 23. Is this re-indicted from 110?
That's correct.
So here, we can shred 110, right? We don't need that.
That's correct.
All right. So what did you do? Just add a prior conviction?
No,
From
Your Honor,
the first one?
As far as this, it had to be re-indicted because it said the previous one, it said caused physical injury, but in this case, it was just exhibiting the weapon and threatening.
So it was also changed to from a first degree to a second
degree,
felony.
yes.
So
Should be
that's a second degree felony then, but you have two prior convictions, which look like they're not in sequence, are they?
No, Your Honor.
So it's enhanced to a first degree felony. So you have a second degree felony punishment and a first degree felony punishment, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and family assault. Okay, so and 110 here, that's gone. That's out of here. So that's not part of the game we are playing in this case.
You need to make sure, Your Honor, that one is dismissed. It's still showing up as policy.
Why? Yeah,
So
that needs to be dismissed.
Make sure I stick. That.
Yeah.
That's part of our request, Your Honor, is to make sure they get it. So that's one less money has to pay.
What are his bonds now, please?
It's like 60 and 10, Your Honor. 60 on the aggravated assault, 10,000 on the felony.
Who set those bonds? Curiously enough, I'd like to know. Because they're woefully inadequate under the circumstances that I'm looking at with prior criminal history and the facts of this case. Here, I'm reading the probable cause affidavit, which I'm sure would have been read, but let's see. The victim says to the defendant, she was pregnant. The defendant then grabs her, pulls a gun, sticks it to her head, told her he would kill her, and hit her in her stomach.
Hold up. Gun to the head of a pregnant woman? That instantly turns this from a bond hearing into a moral gut punch. Question for you. Should bond even be on the table in a case like this?
It was a revolver. Police show up. She has bruising on her right upper arm, redness to her shoulder, as well as left upper arm. Then it was located and arrested. A silver revolver with a wooden grip was located in the defendant's closet, bedroom underneath some clothes. It was a loaded Taurus 38 caliber revolver. So he was booked in for unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon because he has two prior felony convictions. And these facts also resulted in him being indicted for aggravated assault, family violence. Yeah. Anything else? What do you want to add from the state and then defense? I hear you.
I mean, Your Honor, again, like you said, I believe they were set way too low in this case. The state
What do
would
you
ask
ask
that on the assault with a deadly weapon, the state would ask for 150,000 and 50,000 on the felon in possession of firearm.
No, no, we would request a lower amount. We brought this to the attention. He's been in jail for almost a year now waiting.
I don't. So what's the point about that? Doesn't purge the facts.
No, it doesn't, but I was just, it's part of just the narrative to get to everything. It's just, I had to mention
Okay,
that.
narrate.
Your Honor, we have requested set on trial. It was set for, I believe, last week. We were on a trial docket. We did not get reached for trial. This is something we intend to try and get resolved. But in the
I
meantime.
want to ask this. Defendant is not eligible for probation, correct?
Yes, correct, Your Honor. Yes.
There's a gun in his home, right? And it has to match the firearm that was described by a complainant in another case. So let's talk about the circumstances of this case, if you want to or not. What do you say about the firearm?
Your Honor, it was found, it was not found on him. I would make the argument that there. No, I think
Was it his home?
it was,
Who was he living with?
who was it?
I was in the room. It's not
But I mean, who lives there? It's not you. Other people live there.
It's not.
Who?
Or the victim.
The Vicks, they were there, they lived there, so. But Your Honor, that's one of our arguments is that it wasn't found on his person. There is a whole issue about characteristic control.
Which doesn't need to be on this person, right?
No, but you still have,
Okay.
that's true. It doesn't have to be on the person, but you still have to prove the characteristic control, and there's gonna be some issues on that. Because it wasn't his home by himself, and there's some other arguments we're gonna make, but we'll make that a trial. It's not for here. But Your Honor, we just requested that we felt that this was too high, especially also we.
What about the assault of allegedly beating on a lady, which is about as ungentlemanly as it gets? The court had.
Here's the chess move. The defense is leaning on possession technicalities. In law, possession doesn't always mean in your hand. If it's in your closet, under your clothes, and it's your house, a jury can still call that possession.
Little tolerance for a man doing that, unless he's defending himself, of course. But I can't imagine the way I grew up, the way everybody should grow up, where ladies or should be treated like ladies. I guess your story is she beat herself up to impress the police when they showed up. All right.
Your Honor, one of our issues was that currently, like I said, both cases are active. We want to make sure the older one gets suspended, so that takes one less bond off of the table for him to have to pay. Because as we've got here this morning, they were both still technically pending. So that was one of our arguments. And I think the court already ruled.
What about it?
Well, I think the one that's been re-indicted from needs to be dismissed because it's no longer active. But I think
Okay.
yes.
That doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
And Your Honor,
that is certainly correct.
Yes,
He
yes.
doesn't need, that shouldn't be against him. Two charges of the same event
Right.
costing him. No, that should be erased immediately, and it will be.
Okay.
we'll dismiss that. And Your Honor, it shows in the system that it's not showing a bond on that one in my system. It's showing it added an error to the side, and the actual bond is on the new indicted.
Okay. Just make sure the jail has that correct. That's what our issue because they try.
It looks
But,
like they're trying. It's probably one of those problems of transitioning in this gigantic data system
Yes.
that we have suffered through in the last few months. But at least they put in something that he is not he is not disqualified or required to set a bond on that case that was to be replaced, that's still floating around in the data system. So that should not be a prejudice to him.
But Your Honor, his family has attempted to bond him out due to the fact that there is the multiple cases to bond out, and the amounts he has been unable to do that. Your Honor, he is from here. He has family here. He has relatives here. Everybody's here. He has connections to the area. He's not a flight risk. There's no doubt about that. So then it comes down to the big question people always know the dangers to society. This is a violent crime. We understand, but this is a targeted crime, but this is not a random crime of violence. This is something coming out of a relationship, So.
Well, I mean, it goes against the whole idea that our American society is built around a family unit.
But
Somebody beating up, allegedly beating up on the female portion of the family unit is going to be apt to ruin that relationship and cause hostility. This, I think our moral nature is one of peace in the home.
The judge just nailed the heart of it. Violence inside the family home isn't just a crime. It shatters the foundation of trust society is built on. But here's the debate. Should courts treat domestic cases differently from random street violence?
Which this defendant is charged with completely and totally eradicating.
Your Honor, I think if the court would lower his bond, but add conditions in there of well, conditions are always in there, but no contact with the victim. Obviously, stress that if the court wanted to add a ankle monitor or some other monitoring device to help prevent that or to monitor that, what we would request that it's come down to a lower amount in the range of 20,000. I believe 60,000 based on these facts is high.
They're $100,000 in each case. These are atrocious, but his criminal history especially, he has no room for error. But to allegedly be beating on the family, a family member, and also being charged with a firearm, which has gotten him in trouble in the past. He's a felon, and that is disqualifying him from his privilege and right. And I don't find that to be unusual, unreasonable under this fact situation and his criminal history. Also, if he does post a bond, he must have, he will be placed on home confinement, not the victim's home or the complainant's home, some other place that you are going to live. And you must have a GPS and can only leave home for certain necessities that the court would describe and spell out when and if you are bonded out. Let's set this for trial. Is that what we're doing?
It's already been on the trial document.
Let's try to get this as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
And the defendant is ineligible for probation. All right, so let's move forward on these things as soon as possible. All right, what's that's
And there's the ruling. Bond stays sky high, but if he somehow posts it, he'll be locked down with an ankle monitor and house arrest. Translation: freedom, but only inside four walls. That's as close to probation as this guy's getting.